Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, Chats 2017. Well, I should know by now that when I am unable to look at my work, that I'm going through a growth spurt. I'm going through a time of integration. How is that possible when I'm turning my back on the one thing that's important to me, that's my signature? Well, what I'm seeing is that I'm coming to a place where opposites collide and are created into, that's not the right word, they're not created into anything, they're reconciled. So it means being able to hold polar opposite views on pretty much anything. And I'm beginning to realize that. Then where am I? In the middle of all of these contrasts and opposites and perceptions. What am I? Who am I? Oh, well, you know. Isn't this when the chorus comes in and says, oh, you're still finding yourself? Aren't you a little old for that? Yeah. Well, hopefully that's a journey that never ends. Because I think to me it's the best investment there is. Self-reflection, self-awareness, self-knowledge. That is the door that leads to everything. And it does. Personal experience has proven to me that self-awareness, self-knowledge, self-reflection, far from being exercises in selfishness, they're exercises in great love for the other. Really. Even when in self-reflection I realize the toxic nature of how I'm relating with another human, the toxic environment in which I'm asked to swim. I don't walk around creating toxic environments. That's just not my thing. But wow, I have family and friends who do. And I'm asked to be their buddy. What do I do with that? It's like being obligated to a bird with a broken wing, and I got 2 wings that can fly. And that's how I feel. I've been grounded, tending to broken wings. So, well, the problem is that I began to think that my wings are broken, and I never flew. And then I began to fly. Really. From 2012 forward, I've been flying. A metaphor came to me early on. I saw a tree, and it's a big one, and I was flying to it. And I saw the tree was laden with cocoons, and they were rustling like dried leaves in a breeze. But it was an eerie sound because within each of these cocoons there was something moving, fluttering, struggling. And then the dictation came, and they said, look at where you are. And I was flying around the tree, and I heard these calls of distress and struggle and fear, panic. And so I would fly past them and say, everything's going to be okay. You're safe. Everything's fine. We're waiting for you. you're so beautiful. Keep up the good work. I know it feels weird. Keep on going. And then I flew, because there were other butterflies around me, and they said, you look tired, come with us. And they took me to a tree that was fluttering with wings. And there were lots of butterflies there. And there were butterflies in the air. And there were squadrons that would go and visit the tree. And it was our job to fly around the tree and say, everything's okay. You're looking great. You're perfectly safe. Nothing's gonna happen to you. No harm is coming to you. Check out this lag. And part of it is just remembering this in the middle of something. And me with this memory of mine. Oh, I drive around town sometimes and I have this traveler within me, and it doesn't tell me to kill people like Dexter's traveler. My traveler pounds on me. You're not being compassionate. You need to be more compassionate. And it's a struggle because, there's some things that are really hard to be compassionate toward. There's some things that are hard to understand, to accept, to love. Because in human terms, people aren't contained in little cocoons as they struggle against the shells of their understanding. No. Humans in confusion who don't understand don't usually contain their rage, resentment, sadism, masochism, panic, anger. It's all lower agreement field stuff. It's the stuff that knocks others around, pops them in the nose. And I'm a nose popper. I am. I do it in gentleness. And I usually do it without knowing I'm doing it. Just like other people. I'm in conversation and they say something and I'm just floored. Changed. So I've had some time to do some thinking about old life, new life. What really got me on a hook and made me struggle, I had to take myself off of it through the act of sleeping last night, is this idea that, it's the same idea that my physical life, it's like narrowing, and there's an unsustainability to it that I can't really completely understand. And sometimes it scares me because I don't know the future. I just see that the present, I don't know how it can continue the way it is, but I don't know what comes next. And today, finally, the message so loudly is, okay, so, pretty much. For example, I really totally wanted to, just on a whim, I really wanted to review the notes I'd taken from this really cool reading I got from Michelle Caron, who is associated with the Cryon group. She does quantum astrology and she does really intense Akashic readings. And she helped me. I didn't feel legitimate until I listened to her words. I understood myself in a better way after talking with her. And if you've been to someone who has read you like that, then you know what I'm talking about. They didn't confer anything to you. They just recognized something and spoke it. And gave you a gift. You went, yeah, that makes sense. So, she had a lot to say about timing. She had a lot to say about a relationship I was in, and she had a lot to say about a lot of things. And the main point was pointing out my core, pointing out exactly who and what I am, what I came in with, how I affect people. She was the one who said, you walk in a room and people notice you, and you try to be under the radar, you try to go unnoticed. It's impossible. And you intimidate the F out of people. And that's one of the reasons you lay so low. Very helpful to hear that at this time. Because, well, I thought it would be really nice to see those notes. I'm thinking that this 3-year window is up, and it feels like it's up, and yet... So this morning I had some really deep, beautiful thoughts, and I wanted to write them down, because I've been getting every single morning very simple, beautiful, pristine awarenesses, and I wanted to write them down. Couldn't find my notebook. So I grabbed one off of the bookcase. It's lovely. It's a leather-bound, thick one. I love it. Because the covers are flexible, and yet they're leather. It's just so cool. Thin leather is so awesome. And I'm flipping through. There are not many notes. And the very last page I read, and it's me writing, channeling on the beach in Carlsbad, California in 2015. And then I decided to flip back a little bit further. There are those notes by Michelle about, Michelle's reading. So I read them today. And that's just a little teeny tiny example of the synchronicity that I experience hourly. And I don't feel good if I don't have it. I think that it's time to soften the focus, not change the focus, but soften it. By that I mean that it's important to, I think, be able to put lower demands on human beings. Certainly would help me with feeling less disappointed, not expecting anything. Partly I have come to this conclusion, or this rest stop, because of what I see happening politically and culturally. People aren't waking up. I don't know what it's going to take. The level of outrage, the level of inappropriate behavior that is accepted, that's argued about, pointed out, but accepted. Yesterday, gobsmacked by realizing once again how wonderful a world it would be if simply all advertisers stood down. All billboards, all advertising came down. And what a relief that would be to not have people who are hustling for a buck pushing their agenda into my consciousness as I drive down the street. Wouldn't that be lovely? Wouldn't it be amazing to turn on the radio and to just not have ads? I know, it's revolutionary. The buses were just buses. Stadiums were not named for corporate entities. And our consciousnesses weren't junked up with this chase for the almighty dollar. And I flipped into, like Old Testament thinking of the golden calf and how people were worshiping riches, money. And have we even moved off the dime? Yeah, we have more technology in our pockets, but we still consider our God, the one that giveth and taketh away, to actually be green, the serpentine and linear. So, how far have we come? This is a long project. That's what I was facing yesterday. And yet, for me, it feels sometimes so lightning fast and overnight. I don't know. So, my takeaway from today, from this morning, and how I'm feeling right now is that it's really going to be better for me if I allow myself to define myself and love on the people who want to define me in a way that makes them feel more comfortable, that defangs me, that I don't know, somehow makes me less dangerous to them, because I am considered dangerous to some people. They're afraid of me. And this is something I've struggled with my whole life. How to just not be scary to people. Managing other people's feelings, basically, to make it easier on me. But with the help of astrology, meditation, study, and my family of friends, of wizards, of shaman, of psychonauts, of sexual astronauts, so many adventurers, so many people who are children of extremity, trauma, abuse, pain, who have transformed as a result of what they needed to go through as children, as young adults, as older adults, and who, with self-awareness, have used this paradoxical reality of I love you. No, stay close so I can dig the knife in a little bit deeper and twist. Yeah, I love you. That shit changes you. And I know people who have chosen to transform from that pain, that insanity, to die to it and because of it. And leap from the wreckage of flame, immortal, unending, and kind, empathic. When I feel like this work has no merit, I know I'm in a dip. And it's incumbent on me to find a way home. But it's not just this conscious me running the show anymore. It's a group effort. It's a group effort. And that's the signature of my work. I don't walk alone. Although I am unpartnered, and often I am sad about that. It twists me up. It turns my mouth to ash. And I don't feel loved by God. When I look at my pocketbook, and when I look at my empty passenger seat. And those are conundrums that I go to my God with and for. Because to me it matters. But the thing is that I have so many blessings. And I think that I have chosen a couple of tricky areas in which I have deposited my self-worth. And until certain things line up, I don't get my self-worth. Oh no. So it's a way to play takeaway. Oh, I don't have $20 to give you. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad mom. I'm a bad whatever. Earner. Whatever. It's nasty. But it's easy to do. You know, looking at the if I were partnered, you know, there have been times I have looked and said, this don't have legs. Still, it doesn't have legs. And I can be affected and in love and realize this doesn't have legs. And still, it's easy to flip into, oh, God doesn't love me, la la la. Ugh. Self-pity. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Pew, pew. I tell ya. But when I get to the place where I'm thinking, well, you know, it's just, it's a bunch of wanking, and if I was normal, it wouldn't be an issue, and I just know how to deal with this. Then I see what passes for normal, and I realize, yeah, well, these extracurricular activities, they're okay by me. I'm really okay with people misinterpreting it, and I can just let them have their misinterpretations, and I don't have to go in there and say, hey, this is why it's not true, blah, blah, blah. No, just let people have their judgments, move on, move on, move on, move on. I do think that everything is going really, actually, swimmingly well, and I have a lot to look forward to. I have a lot right now. I mean, I look around my home and I'm so blessed. And I feel so rich. And I think I got $3 in my pocket. But holy crap, I feel rich. I mean, really down deep. And what do I mean by rich? I mean down deep. Completely winked at by the universe. Hey, we knew you wanted this. It's really totally random, but here you go. And it's stuff that I am doing for myself. It's bringing into the physical the blessings that were always riding around with me, but were potential. Well, isn't that the point? Once you get past the parsing, the deciding what's good and what's bad, what you're going to keep, what you're going to leave behind, and what's impossible to leave behind, what is part of you. Oh, looking down. Oh yeah, that is a part of me. Oops. I don't have to sweat that? No. It's with me. People and situations and loves and hopes. I think it's good to keep those along. That I don't have some of these blessings in my reality at the moment, I wouldn't know what to do with them. I'm trying to find one overnight time to go visit a friend of mine to help do something that we've been wanting to do for months, and we can't figure out a time to meet. It's not going to work out the way I needed it to. I need to be flexible and to not be resentful and to realize that just because I have a picture in my head doesn't mean that that's how it's going to play out, and that I'm okay. No matter how the situation plays out, it's all guided. And just because it's not working out the way it is in my brain pan, it doesn't mean it's not guided. This speaks to the question I often have of what's the correct thing to do, what's the right thing to do, what feels best, what is correct and true, what is appropriate, what's compassionate. And I think that my confusion has been that I do what feels most compassionate, and the person I'm being compassionate toward continues to howl or stonewall me, ghost me, or hate me, or resent me. It doesn't matter how compassionate I am, or kind, or pleasing. It doesn't matter. What should that tell me? If I were a child and I was counseling me, I'd say, well, what that tells me is that you're working with contrast here. You're checking to see who you are and what you are. And you've got contrasts. And the people in your life who are causing, discomfort, and they're angry with you even though you're doing your best, well, perhaps they're there not to change you, but to show you that they're in pain. And because they're in pain, they're asking for things that you may not be able to give. But they trust you enough to ask. What does it tell you about you? So, hold your chin up. And if you're among a lot of people who are having trouble, maybe it's not because you're also troubled. Maybe it's because you're there to help. But that means taking care of yourself first. Filling yourself up first. Hasn't your personal experience shown you you're not going to get filled by them? Why be angry about that? Just go to them full. My issue is not being willing to accept the identity that many others want to put on me, And boy, the drop-down list isn't very, I don't know, it isn't very nice. I've gone through the list before: hippie, flake, black sheep, stupid, crazy, abstracted, too smart for my own good, too sexual, too much. What does that speak to? Can you imagine? It's like I just have this beautiful image, and I think with that I'll close, of this like powerful Kali kind of person, this wise, powerful, beautiful, streaming woman in the middle of a bunch of women taking high tea with little cucumber sandwiches and pinky fingers up, needing for their stockings to be straight, needing for a way of behaving to be the way it's done, out of respect and out of a need for uniformity. And here I walk in. Hey, where's the tea? I'm hungry. Is that it? Ooh, those look good. Are there a lot of them? And then, the women throwing shade. As well they should. They're just trying to have high tea after all. Very interesting sound. Wow. I love that. So, I like that image. It might help me today. But I'm actually, for really pretty much, it doesn't take many of these little interactions. For the most part, man, oh man, I'm surrounded by supportive, loving, funny, accepting, chill people. And this is kind of my sense, is that it's me who's resurrecting this pain. It's me. And I think it's just, I really, really, really identify with those shaking cocoons. I know what it's like to need to have your stockings stay straight and to not be reminded of sexuality, of freedom, of expression, of color. Need things to be normal. Well, good luck with that. Oh, fluttering cocooned one. 3344. So, yeah. There's always going to be changes. There's always going to be changes, but it's legitimate to come to you. It's valid, and it's wonderful, and it's beautiful. And every time I sit down, finally, and give myself permission to think that I might be legitimate, that I have a reason and a right to speak, I have something important to say that is helpful and not harmful. When I finally sit down and I watch, I blow myself away. I know these need to be transcribed. I'm so proud of my work. And I know that this is home. So I'll hang on to these words. I'll listen to them today. I'll listen to them again and again. And I've been getting the word that it's about writing. Part of the not remembering is because it's not written down. And I really haven't wanted to do a lot of transcription because I'm in a way, I'm not really sure I want to make it completely real to myself. It shifts and changes how I perceive myself when I read what I've said. And I think it's about time. I am going to start, I think, with the myth of the Christ, because wow, is that intense and beautiful and profound and paradigm shaking. And yeah, it's beautiful. I'm really proud of it. And I want it to be read. I want that to be known. It is about trust and faith for me. It's about remembering. And it's about knowing that the people who are having trouble, who need things to be normal, to go back to how they were, to not be reminded of the pain. As long as I don't remind myself of the pain, it's not there. I can't. And I can walk in and go, hey, yeah, oh, that really hurt. Yeah, I want to talk about it. Let's process. Yeah, this is the place where I get to do that. But also, my life is a blossom. It's a bloom. And now with these retrogrades finally pushing through. So I'm going to look at the astrology for 2018 and figure out what the hell. And in the meantime, I'm going to remember, oh, yeah, well, this is time limited. Obviously, a reality that is unsustainable won't be sustained. Obviously, I can trust, because obviously, I rely on what some people would call miracles, and what others know is just the web of synchronicity. This is a very large and important energetic day for me. And for loved ones. It's my sister's birthday. And it's an anniversary of sorts. And I've said, at the beginning, it's the first day of the rest of my life. Yeah, well, it's a continuation. And I'm smiling finally. Yeah, May 4ths have been important. I don't know why. But now we walk in 21 days and I walk into my anniversaries, bigger anniversaries actually, of my conversion in that casino in 2012, of Sam graduating kindergarten, of me graduating nursing school. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. I stop time and reflect, and by doing so, perhaps I bend it a bit, who knows. So I'm really pleased with the look back period, very happy to have had that time. I understand there's more looking back to come, but there's movement forward now. So here walks Kali, and I walk into the funniest, coolest places. I have this little tiny village within a very large city, and the places I go to and the people I approach for goods and services, you'd be surprised. I have this little village And people know me in my little village. And I love them, and they love me. I don't need to live in a small town. Because I do live in a small town. A small town populated with friends. It doesn't happen from anything but showing up, participating, walking in like Kali sometimes, and sometimes walking in like I feel like I'm 6, and I'm scared, and I just need to be loved. I don't know. They oblige. So, all is well. I can't believe I'm doing such a long tape. I just wanted to let my freak flag fly, though, and I did, didn't I? All right, 4114, isn't that pretty? All right, to close, I have this really awesome shirt. It's really super old, you can tell. It's secondhand, and it's huge. It's like I don't know, it's big. It's great. I love it. It's like a night shirt on me. It goes down to my mid thigh, and it's huge. I love it. It's sea green, and on the front you can hardly see it. It's a little patch. On the back, it's a shirt from Sturgis. The thing is that I got it secondhand, and it is funky. I mean, I've already washed it once, and you'd never know it. I can't even tell. But wow. Well, I think a dude's only been wearing it, but it smells so strong of dude. It's like a funk. It's like a cloud. I finally had to take it off last night. It's like, whoa. Strong, super strong. So I put it away and put this one on. We affect each other. Even when we're not there. So maybe if you've donated clothes, your funk is keeping somebody awake tonight. Who knows? Mind your funk. All right. I'm done. I'm happy. I'm better. I'm more at peace. And happy to have home base be a tree that is alive with mind-bendingly beautiful colors and movement and subtle shifts in the air, very subtle. And we, individually and in teams, go visit our brothers and our sisters who are nearly there. It's a lot more fun to fly than to struggle. But everyone is on their own time. So from my vantage point, I want to tell you, it's beautiful, you know, what you're going through. It's beautiful. And it may seem completely out of control. It's sort of supposed to. It's a process. And it's scary as hell. And yeah, you are kind of dying in a way, sort of, but not really. Don't get too scared. Don't get too hung up on the details. And don't believe it's forever, please. Because it's not. Where's this voice coming from anyway? Yeah, where's it coming from? It's coming from your friend who's just outside. just outside that little barrier that's between us. And I'm here because I miss you. And I can't wait to see what happens next. And I know it's good. And I know you don't know that. Ha ha. Have a super Thursday. Make it your best Thursday yet. Selah.